So the man and the woman, the masculine and feminine, have got to stop being at war with each other. So we have a polarity happening. We have the feminist and we have the misogynist, and they're here. They're on a teeter-totter, and they're on each side, and they can't come together because they're operating from pain instead of purpose, and they end up fighting each other. And they're just causing a war, and we're not actually building connection. So we've gone through relationships, and instead of taking relationships and understanding, yeah, there's challenging, yeah, some relationships won't work out, and they're supposed to teach us things about ourselves, how to understand ourselves better, what we like, what we don't like, build a contrast. And instead, people have taken that because we haven't created a strong sense of self, possibly because it is repeating programs, pain programs that we maybe interpreted as a small child that we then are projecting onto others. And we didn't even understand that we took them in as certain programs because it seemed like normal behavior for parents maybe to let you cry it out. They were taught that. And then if you let them cry it out, what does a baby take in? Like, oh, my needs are not being met. What we're trying to do in relationships is to feel safe and feel secure and each get our needs met. So we need to look into what is it that we truly want. We actually really want to build connection, but then we get into these pain and toxicity cycles, and then we create, and we're creating from a place of pain. So we're like looking at these dating techniques that actually teach these toxic behaviors because it's coming from a place of pain rather than power, pain rather than purpose, because we're using manipulation tactics because we want to win something, and there's like a win-win. So there's a zero-sum game rather than like, hey, I want to truly understand you and see into you and love you. But love was identified as scary, and so now we're scared of love. And so instead, we're trying to have a competition and trying to control and feel safe. This is not where we're going to find true fulfillment and happiness when we're operating from a place of control and manipulation. And that's done in both the masculine and the feminine. Like I see feminine dating tactics like be your dark feminine and like how to manipulate and control him. These exist. And then in the men's side, also I see this red pill dating tactics, which talk about manipulating and not letting the woman feel good and to like, keep her nervous system in a state of panic so that she keeps coming back to you. Like, I think we really need to sit with ourselves and ask ourselves, like, is that the love that I want to experience? Or is that the relationship that I want to experience? Do I want to do that to my person that I want to spend the rest of my life with? And if I'm doing that to that person, I'm creating trauma in that person. So then, of course, how is that person going to end up responding back to you in a traumatized state? So we're not winning when we're like trying to control and traumatize one another. We need to be able to be there so that we can see and feel safe and build proper, safe connections, having forgiveness, holding space, and really getting into the deep personal spaces of ourselves. And you have to have the courage and you have to have the desire to want to actually build something, because like that's truly what you want. But a journey is a journey and you're going to go through it. And if you want to do it the hard way and then cause pain upon other people, and if that feels good to you, then eventually there's going to be an awakening point where you're going to have to finally sit with and be like, damn, something has to change because this isn't working out for me. So at what point do you decide, like, what is it that I truly want to experience in life? And how is it that I really want to feel? And am I operating in a place that's actually going to deliver that type of results? Like, am I creating an environment that is going to fertilize those results for me. And when I talk and how I communicate, am I delivering it in a way and with a tone and with a feel that that other person is going to actually receive what I have to say? Because what's the point of delivering something as an attack? You know, when you are attacking someone, they're going to automatically come from a place of defense, right? And then they're going to put up, you know, their walls because they feel attacked. And so then they're going to want to engage with war until someone can finally be the one to extend to be like, hey, you know, let's wave the white flag here. I realize what it is that I truly want. And I don't want to fight and I don't want war. I actually really want love, and I really want understanding, and I really want to understand you. And like, how can we actually come to a place of where we can connect rather than disconnect? So I really feel like we are on this journey. It's just very interesting to see. So in the dating pool, there's like about the divine feminine, divine masculine, and like really working into like, how can I understand the feminine energy and how can I really understand the masculine energy so that I can actually, you know, do what needs to be done to provide safety in their nervous system. And when I provide safety in their nervous system, they're going to want to provide that back with me. And if they don't, we need to be in a healed state or eventually get to a place where we realize that in our healed state, if someone is not treating us in a healthy way, if we're healthy and we see someone not treating us in a healthy way, that we're able to walk away and walk towards something that is healthy and with light and love and compassion, and be like, okay, they're just not in a place to be able to, you know, meet me in this space. They will eventually get there at some point, but it's obviously not now. And it may not be with me, and that's okay. It's not a reflection of me when I'm in a healthy space and I say, no, like, I'm not going to accept, you know, I'm not going to run after someone who ghosts me, or that I'm not going to put extra energy into someone who is putting very minimal effort into me. And I think that these are gold nuggets, and they are like triggers that are gifts and gold nuggets of awareness to be like, okay, where in myself do I actually need to find more love? Because if I'm chasing after someone who's breadcrumbing me, I'm like obviously overvaluing them and undervaluing myself. And where does this stem from? What pattern? Like, could this be related to my childhood? Was I seeking love from a parent that wasn't able to be emotionally available or physically available, or all of the above? And like, where does this repeat? Like, how does this dynamic, the energy of this dynamic, the feelings that I'm feeling, and what does this remind me of? Like a time in my life. Because what we're actually doing is we're seeking out repetitive cycles. And the purpose of those repetitive cycles is just to say, hey, you're trying to heal me. I'm trying to let you see me in the physical through your physical actions. So you're going to continue to repeat these cycles until you understand this cycle. And then when you heal that cycle, then you can create a new program and move forward. But until you do that, you're just going to continue in this repeat cycle of pain. And sometimes it's going to get worse and worse and worse till it wants you to see it for what it is. So I think, like, whenever we're trying to take power, like overpower another, rather than come from the power of love. Like, the power of love is strong and it transforms. But if we're trying to come from a place of overpowering, or owning or controlling a situation, or creating, making someone feel a certain way and orchestrating that, then that is a form of manipulation, and that comes from a place of lack. It's okay that there are some people that aren't going to feel the same way for you as you do for them, and that freaking hurts. Absolutely. But that kind of stuff is to teach us, like, hey, that person's not our person, and there are more people out there, and to not come from a place of lack, and to come from a place of like feeling whole and abundant within ourselves, and to be like, okay, well, what is this teaching me, and what is it that I do like? And each relationship is to show us, okay, well, I liked XYZ, but I didn't like ZYX. Okay, these are things that I now have contrast to go forward. Let's explore. And, to be willing to extend and open and be flexible and flow with another person, because we are all coming in with particular traumas and triggers, right? And that's the kind of like, the purpose of a relationship is like to mirror back to us parts of ourselves so that we can see them and be like, oh, wow, I didn't realize I felt uncomfortable when this happened. It kind of created a trigger. So now I can go in, okay, what does this trigger come from? Because it stems from some sort of lack that I have created within myself. And then now I can go in and I can determine what that is and heal that part of myself. And then that other person, there you have the trigger person and the one that caused the trigger, and this person is receiving, acting out, right? This person does something and this one acts out. They were triggered. If this person like knows, like, okay, I didn't, mean anything, but they're able to like not be triggered back, right? So this person's triggered, this one can hold space for that person and kind of show love and like care and like help that person walk through maybe miscommunication that they may have had, or maybe this person needs to sit with to understand what had happened and explain it to this person who's like, I don't know what just happened right now. But if this person is like not taking offense and like fighting back, it allows this person to sit with that, right? And to like understand that and feel safe in that exploration. This person who was triggered cannot feel safe in that exploration so they got triggered, and then all of a sudden this one's triggered, like this one ended up fighting back and taking offense. So now we got two triggered people and we have a war, and then there's no space for anyone to actually understand what's going on. Perhaps in some situations, if they're both conscious and aware, they both can maybe understand like, okay, well, that triggered this part of me, and this one's like, that triggered that part of me. And if they're like, they can come together after in a calm, like their nervous system is calm, and like have a conversation and say like, well, I felt what came up for me, I felt was this, and it seemed like this story, and this fear was what was happening. And then this person be like, well, I didn't mean, like, that's not what's happening. I didn't know that you understood it that way, and I didn't know that fear came up for you, or like if that fear came up for you, like this is like, let me reassure you, and then that's how that can be processed. And then vice versa for this person. Well, when you did that, this fear came up for me, and like and this is the story that it told me, and so then this person can hold space for that person and that understanding. So the communication and the openness and the exploration is the way to be able to heal those things. But like, you can't do that when you're like attacking each other and like projecting onto each other and saying, you did this, well, you did this. That's not how it's done. It's done in a way where it's like, well, not you did this. Well, when this happened, I actually like, what I felt was this. I felt unloved, and it reminded me of, and my childhood when this happened. And so it scares me because I'm not sure that you are as invested in this relationship as I am. And so like I get really scared, and I understand that this is, something that I need to work on. But like, perhaps what I need from you is a little more validation, because that could really help me in feeling good and secure in this relationship. And could you provide that for me? And then this person then has the choice to like, be like, oh, okay, so this is what you need. I want to make you feel safe and loved, because when you feel safe and loved and secure, we're not going to be in these arguments, right? So, so then this person can say, well, and then when you reacted that way, like I really didn't like that. It reminded me of this, and um, it made me feel worried to bring things up, because when you bring things up, um, it's like you're not caring about my feelings. And I feel disrespected and I feel betrayed because I opened up and I was vulnerable to you. And then this person be like, okay, well, what can I do? What can I do in the future to bring things up that can help you feel safe, but that we're still working through things, So like you have this dynamic, but the communication has to happen, right? And then we have to come from a place of like, this is what was going on within me. So this situation happened, and this is what was going on within me. And this is the story that I felt it was telling me. And this is the fear that was elicited within me. And maybe I understand that this is my wound and I want to be able to heal it. But I have a need from you to be able to help me with that wound, right? And we want to be able to help each other with the wounds, and not to be like, oh no, well, that's your shit. You just deal with it. Well, it's more like, okay, well, how can I help you when these things come up from you? Is there something that I can do? And if we can be open to understanding the needs of each other and really working on being active within each other to be able to provide safe spaces and connection, we can build that connection. But as long as we're scared of that and scared of each other, we're just going to continue on this toxic road where we're fighting each other, and we're really sad and we're alone and unfulfilled. And I really don't think that that's where we want to be. I think if we can come back to like always center ourselves and be like, well, what is it that I truly do want? And what is it that I need? And what is the right path to be able to achieve that?